And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Blockchain Talk. In today's episode, we'll be covering a few, important newsworthy items. Though I must say, market during this period, August 2023, is actually quite boring. Not much is happening, though there's a lot of speculation, a lot of things going on in the background, but it isn't really reflected on current prices. Now, I've got a few topics ready for you guys, as you can see in the title. We'll be talking about Trump and his Ethereum holdings. We'll be talking about SBF or Sam Bankman-Fried, previous CEO of FTX, the exchange which went down under in late, fourth quarter of 2022 with a huge scandal. So that fest isn't over yet. We'll be talking about PYUSD or PayPal USD, a new stablecoin launched by PayPal, and actually we'll head on over, talk a little bit about Bitcoin ETFs, though I have done so in the past in a separate video, in a dedicated blockchain talk. However, this one is an additional item. Now, I'm going to say let us begin, but before I am going to hit you guys with all the various topics and give my hot takes and how you should interpret these things, we're just going to plain talk about the current state of the cryptocurrency markets. For that, I've opened up CoinGecko. Sorry, apologies. As I said, market lately is kind of boring, isn't doing all too good. Naturally, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin here. You can see it's down 0.6% in the last few hours. We see there's not much movement going on on the 24-hour chart, except here, since about, 5 o'clock approximately, that we had a little crash down, and now we're veering back up. 7-day range. And you will start to see that, okay, there's a little bearish sentiment here. Now, you might wonder why. Well, quite frankly, today it has been announced that the UK will stop trading cryptocurrency within their borders. More precisely, today they have announced, and that's PayPal UK, announced that all crypto trading and Bitcoin trading will be stopped on their platform starting 1st of October. So that's the reason why you're seeing this little downward spiral. Let's zoom out a little bit more. Now we can clearly see that when it concerns price action in the last 2 weeks, we aren't seeing much movement. As you can tell, 29K seemingly is the current support level upon which we are trading, and you can see we are once again approaching it quite closely. We had a little bit of a tick off because there was a huge sell-off. I believe that's last week on Monday 7th, which spiked up, made some funds available, lost up, and now we are slowly correcting as there isn't much happening. It becomes more obvious if we take a look on the monthly. You can clearly see that, we hit 30K, and there were a few attempts to break it, but generally we go back down, and quite frankly, it seems 29K is upholding as a support level, but 30K is still the biggest resistance level. The more we start zooming out, the more it becomes clear there is still some volatility going on, but that we are actually trading sideways. We had some nice recovery from June, where we were stuck with the 25K. We're now at 29K, but as you guys can see, it's boring. We're going sideways. A little bit of bearish sentiment here. If we zoom out even further, you guys can tell we are slowly ascending, but with the necessary corrections, with the necessary amount of shorts. That's for half a year. You guys can see here, since February, August, we've made some nice recovery above 20K, but still falling short to break 30K levels. An attempt was made already here. A few attempts have been made here, but as you guys could see, not really working. If you look over the entire year, there is still some bullish sentiment, but you can see there are a variety of stages occurring here by which Bitcoin is increasing. Now, to me, that's not an indication that we are already back in a bull market. What I can see is that we are actually finally seeing some relief from the disastrous year that was 2022, with Three Arrows Capital, the collapse of Celsius, collapse of FTX, etc., and that we are now back at normal, more or less, trading levels where we should be. Anyway, let us hit with the main meat. And we're going to start with the jailing of SBF, or Sam Bankman-Fried. Got a few articles prepared. Just read with me. So this has been updated August 15th, so yesterday. Prosecution in SBF's ongoing court case produced the longest and most explicit lists of charges so far. Document is 70 pages long and names legal precedents for most of the charges brought against him. However, special attention is given to the accusation of illegal political campaign contributions. That is to say, ever since Sam Bankman-Fried has been, brought to be judged, has been halted, etc., ever since the collapse, people have been pointing out the political campaign contributions he has been making, with the majority going towards the Democratic Party. People have been pointing out, naturally, how he was favoring them and trying to manipulate a little bit so that FTX could get certain things done from government, and that was mostly being done through political campaign contributions. Plenty of people have been asking about, when are you going to return those funds back to your customers from which you have stolen it? That's an entire other discussion. However, it has now been confirmed that he is being accused of illegal political campaign contributions. It wasn't too long ago that Bankman-Fried was requesting the dismissal of the contribution charge, among others. Unfortunately for the defense, the document shows that the prosecution plans to revive the charges based on new evidence garnered during the discovery period. Things he's freaking out about, highly important part of the prosecution strategy, is use of Carolyn Ellison, so that was his second-in-command, personal notes and archives, which include a list named Things Sam is Freaking Out About, as reported by the New York Times. Archives were virulently attacked by the defense, who labeled them as hearsay. However, prosecution argues that Ellison's notes are admissible evidence. In their opinion, the notes were not organized systematically due to any personal quirk. Instead, they were used to help keep track of the FTX C-suits of the book dealing, making the notes more akin to a secret ledger than a personal diary. Breach of campaign donation law, that's the main meat here. 70-page document also outlines the prosecution intent to use the text messages to and from members of FTX C-suit as evidence of a breach of political campaign donation law. The accusation primarily centers on using Nishad Singh and Ryan Salame to donate funds to both sides of Congress on behalf of SBF. So that means he was contributing through secondary means in his name in order to sway the opinion. One of the text messages cited as evidence is one sent by Salame to a relative of his, stating that SBF was donating to weed out anti-crypto Democrats for pro-crypto Democrats and anti-crypto repubs for pro-crypto repubs, and stating that SBF would route money through him to erase that Republican side. However, Ryan Salame, who is facing an own set of accusations regarding violations of campaign finance law, will not be available as a witness in a case against Sam Bankman-Fried, choosing to plead the Fifth Amendment instead in a bid to not incriminate himself. So basically, as I have said, those are the political campaign contributions using secondary persons in order to sway people in politics for his own cause. There is a word for that, which I'm not going to repeat here. Sam Bankman-Fried sent to jail for witness tampering. That's the second accusation. A problematic thing for him. So now he is rotting in jail, so to speak. Founder of the crypto exchange FTX could spend at least 2 months in jail ahead of its trial. So Bankman-Fried was reportedly sent to jail on Friday as U.S. Judge Lewis Kaplan denied his lawyers' request to delay detention. Former crypto mogul's court date is set for October 2nd, and he could sit in a jail cell until then if the appeal is unsuccessful. The Potato reported last month the allegations presented by the New York Times that SBF had tried to intimidate one of the key witnesses in its legal battle against his authorities, former leader of Alameda Research, Caroline Ellison, which, by the way, was his concubine right before they got arrested. But as things go, Caroline Ellison agreed to help the authorities with, striking Sam Bankman-Fried itself. So, intimidation tactics abound here. Prosecutors were quick to request Bankman-Fried's detention, claiming he could not be trusted while residing in his parents' home. So he went back to mommy and daddy. Expectedly, his lawyers refuted the allegations, indicating that he didn't try to intervene or intimidate anyone, especially his former girlfriend. According to more recent reports, though, the attorney's requests for delayed detention were denied by Judge Lewis Kaplan. Conclusion is there is probably cause to believe the defendant tried to tamper with witnesses at least twice. Interestingly, SBF will most likely be sent to a jail in Putnam, New York, and will have access to a laptop with an internet connection to prepare for his defense. The other option was sending him to Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, where internet access is limited for prisoners. SBF's court date over his alleged involvement in defrauding investors and the massive crash of his former crypto empire is set to begin on October 2nd. Could spend the next almost 2 months in jail unless his lawyers appeal to revert Judge Kaplan's ruling is successful. Additionally, on Twitter, there were a few other things which were happening. A few addresses of Sam Bankman-Fried seemingly, for the Blockchain Explorer guys, were moving. So funds were on the move. And at the same time, in between what happened here, this article, the previous one we saw, his internet access was limited by reason that his guardians noticed he was watching football matches between brackets, although evidence exists that he was mingling with funds. So that he was up to some shilling and scamming people. In any case, it doesn't look all too good for Sam Bankman-Fried here. Didn't I leave this for last? Nope. So we're not going to follow the title where it concerns preparation. Seems I didn't organize it quite well. You guys can see it is all impro, so nothing has been decently prepared. This all being done on spot. Anyway, first spot Bitcoin ETF goes live in Europe with interesting twist. Institutional investors will be able to enter the BTC or Bitcoin ecosystem and meet ESG goals at the same time, said Jacoby. While the US SEC continues to reject or delay at best all spot Bitcoin ETF applications, such a product has seen the light of day in Europe. Called the Jacoby FT Wilshire Bitcoin ETF, that's a mouthful, it will be the first similar product compliant with SFDR Article 8 through its decarbonization strategy. Press release dated August 15 informs that the spot Bitcoin ETF will be the brainchild of Jacoby Asset Management and Wilshire Indexes. It will be taken under the ticker of Bitcoin. It's already been listed on Euronext Amsterdam. We said that it had implemented a verifiable built-in renewable energy certificate, REC, solution which allows institutional investors to access the benefits of Bitcoin whilst also meeting the ESG goals. ETF will be regulated by the GWESNY Financial Services Commission. Fidelity Digital Assets will be the custodian. Flow traders will serve as the market makers, and Jane Street and DRW will be authorized participants. Wilshire Indexes CEO Mark Makepeace commented, launch of the Jacoby FT Wilshire Bitcoin ETF is an important milestone for the digital asset industry and a transformative moment for global financial industry. We are excited about the partnership, yada, yada, yada. So excitement, yay, spot Bitcoin BTF. First one has been launched here in Europe. Spot Bitcoin ETFs have launched in a couple of other countries in the past few years, including Brazil and Canada. However, the US securities watchdog, the SEC continues to reject all applications for such a product. Nevertheless, the landscape can change soon as the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock, filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF in mid-June. Did I have preparation here? No. Why is this big news? Well, in a previous episode on Blockchain Talk, I have been highlighting the differences between a future ETF and a spot Bitcoin ETF. You have spot Bitcoin ETF, which implies that you are factually trading paper Bitcoin through a broker. However, the difference here is the spot Bitcoin ETF, the paper Bitcoin is being backed by actual Bitcoin. If you are talking about a future ETF or another derivative ETF, on that account, a future Bitcoin ETF isn't necessarily backed by Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, it isn't backed by Bitcoin. The broker doesn't need to hold actual Bitcoin. You are trading an ETF which tries to emulate the value of Bitcoin. You are trading paper Bitcoin without the Bitcoin. That's what a future ETF is. And as I have explained in the previous Blockchain Talks video where it concerns Bitcoin ETFs, future ETFs are always being handled positively by the SEC. However, spot ETF, as being mentioned here in the article, isn't. And this has more to do with the on and offboarding of USD dollars. The SEC in itself says we want to protect customers, we want to protect investors from making mistakes and getting scammed, etc., etc. Whereas the real goal is that they want to protect the purchasing power of the US dollar. Future ETFs and all that, but not the spot Bitcoin ETF, all of the other ETFs, they allow for the flow of US dollars. They allow for the dollar to be used and be increased in purchasing value. Soon as money moves, it gets more demand, there's more liquidity, which implies that it increases in purchasing power. However, the very second you're dealing with a spot ETF, you need to back it by the actual asset. And that would imply that there's a negative flow of US dollars towards Bitcoin, meaning that US dollars are flowing into the Bitcoin network, thus increasing its value as the broker needs to buy up more in order to keep up with demand of their spot ETF. And that's something the SEC doesn't want, as they want to protect the US dollar. And that's the main reason why no spot Bitcoin ETF has been launched in the US thus far. Europe's first spot Bitcoin ETF is going live. Jacobi Bitcoin ETF is overseen by Gwesny's Financial Authority, and Fidelity Digital Asset manages its custodial responsibilities. We need to watch out with this one because the FDA, I believe, was a little bit in bad water in the previous months, with a variety of exchanges being linked towards Fidelity, and that there were problems of cashing out. So I'm already a bit wary. Now, my general advice is, why trade an ETF? Doesn't matter if it's a future or if it's a spot ETF. Just deal with the real deal. Go towards Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, whatever. Buy factual Bitcoin. Self-custody, so get it off the exchanges and hold it with you. All that trading with ETFs is just money flow. And I know, thanks to Andrew Tate and quite a lot of influences on Money Twitter or whatever, the popularity of starting your own online business, plenty of people exist who do technical analysis, and they are dealing with these paper shit. I've got to call it like it is. It is paper shit. It isn't the real asset you are holding. And while some might be good with their technical analysis, you will always lose more than that you will gain. the very few traders who are successful tend to keep their secrets with them and do not sell even their signals. It is something you need to learn. And at overall, even if you look at how Bitcoin has grown in value over time, it is wise to just follow the lead of a variety of institutional investors and start buying up Bitcoin with them to DCA, to know when it is at its lowest point, lowest value during a bear market. Take plenty of it and just wait until the next bull run before you want to cash out. On that occasion, you will make more profit. That's a given, despite plenty of traders claiming otherwise by playing the markets with shorting and longing. Myself, I find it something very unfair, immoral to do, even, because you are betting on the future and the value of a freedom giving asset. So stay clear of those ETFs and other derivative trading Bitcoin means. Trade Bitcoin itself, period. Next news. Week following stablecoin introduction, PayPal appoints new CEO. Dan Schulman will step down from the CEO position at the end of September and depart PayPal's board of directors in May 2024. No chief executive officer, PayPal with no boss. So yeah, PYUSD has been launched, and here they're talking about a new CEO for PayPal. Now, this is the most important part. Continuing PayPal's crypto forays, besides holding crypto on its balance sheet and enabling a variety of cryptocurrency services for users, PayPal recently made headlines by launching a stablecoin called PYUSD. Monetary product is fixed to the value of the American dollar and issued by Paxos Trust CO. From where should you know Paxos Trust EO? Well, those are the same guys behind BUSD or Binance USD, which coincidentally is a stable coin which was forbidden to be produced, halted production of it by the American government in order to discredit Binance. And actually, there were some shady deals going on with Binance and their BUSD. Paxos was behind it, and now seemingly they are also behind the PYUSD, PayPal USD stablecoin. So yeah, what can I say? That's a little red flag that needs close monitoring. PayPal said it will gradually introduce PYUSD to clients in the USA, move indicating the firm's determination to remain part of the digital asset sector despite regulatory uncertainty in the world's largest economy. Alex Chris's background in Intuit includes helping individuals and small businesses have better access to financial services and more control over their funds. As such, his appointment could align with PayPal's crypto mission. Now, PayPal has been going forward in cryptocurrency for a few years already. I believe it was in 2020 already, or 2021, that I was warning people about PayPal's foray into cryptocurrency, where they suddenly came up with the very bullish news that they said, look, we shall allow crypto trading onto our platform. You can now deposit your Ethereum and Bitcoin. And back then I gave the warning, watch out guys, you can send your Bitcoin and Ethereum and you can use it there to make payments through their platform, but you cannot withdraw, which remains so for a very long time. I believe it now has become possible, but it has been a while. I still need to look it up, but might also be the case can't still withdraw those cryptocurrency, meaning they have all those Bitcoin and Ethereum in their own custody. With the launching of their PayPal USD, I'm going to assume they are branching off and will be settling themselves as an exchange. A semi, now I'm not going to say even a decentralized exchange. I'm going to call it a centralized exchange by reason they now have their very own stable coin, which allows for swapping and taking profits within their platform. So trading will become available on PayPal. However, as I have warned in the past about PayPal, do not trust your Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other coin with them. They have a little bit of a history making shady moves. Now, this is their announcement. Let's look a little bit deeper into it. PayPal stablecoin designed for payments, as you guys can tell. 1 USD equals 1 PYUSD on PayPal, introducing new cryptocurrency. It's a stablecoin backed by secure and highly liquid assets. As PYUSD rolls out, you'll be able to buy, sell, hold, and transfer it in our app on our site. This is a little giveaway, though I believe that's going to be a little image that they edited, not from their actual application. On our site, so meaning it is unique to the site. However, I'm interested in backed by secure and highly liquid assets. Is it going to be naturally? Is it going to be backed by actual US dollars, or is it going to be backed by paper money, paper Bitcoin, or other paper assets? That remains to be seen. That is something which needs to be checked out. PayPal USD is designed to maintain a stable 1 USD value. That's the definition of a stable coin. Easy in, easy out. Transfer PayPal in our app on our site, so only on their platform. Probably in the future, it will expand towards other exchanges who can list it, though, yeah, at this moment, it's going to be on their platform. Network fees may apply, so expect some fees. Check out with crypto and we'll sell your PayPal USD so you can pay for your items. Plus, you can use our convert feature to buy the other cryptos we support. Fees apply. Heavily stressing on fees here. Buy and sell, convert, pay, send and receive. So basic money. Here it is. Fully backed by US dollar deposits, US treasuries, and similar cash equivalents. You can buy and sell 1 PYUSD for 1 USD on PayPal, meaning they will need to, well, for any credibility and to avoid any red flags, it should be wise for PayPal to publish a report with the assets backing their reserves. Otherwise, we might be seeing same shit that happened with Celsius Network, Terra Luna, which was also a big one last year, and naturally FTX. So proof of reserves, people. The fees, always important. There are no fees to buy, sell, and hold or transfer PYUSD to eligible PayPal balance accounts. There is a fee to convert between PYUSD and other cryptos. And that's everything you need to know. Now, as we are talking about stablecoins, I want to highlight one of the many statements I make, and I still stand by, is that stablecoins are as bad as CBDCs, or as bad as central banking digital currencies. This was written with thanks to Terra Luna and their Terra USD, which came down. In here, as you guys can read on screen, you can pause the screen for a few minutes, slowly read what I've written. But basically, in it, I make the case why they are as bad as CBDCs. Mainly, a stablecoin is a digital dollar when it comes down to it. It's digital money, and it is following the USD or the US dollar in its value trend. As you guys know, the US dollar has been falling tremendously in value due to its inflationary nature. So, in a sense, one of the things I'm saying here is that stablecoins are in all actuality shitcoins. They aren't even stable coins by reason that their true value is always going down. Now, if you want to have a more, hold on a second, a more in-depth talk about it, I did a live stream some time ago. As you guys can see, I'm going to pause it here. Blockchain Talk presents pitfalls of stable coins. This is an episode I made a few months ago. I'm going to share it here on screen. Sorry for the... So that's the URL that I'm showing towards this live stream. That's all you need to know about stablecoins, why I make the statement that I made, and why I don't really have any stablecoins within my crypto portfolio. I'm not going... Well, I could go on a rant on about how, but I try to limit these episodes towards 1 hour, and I've dedicated an entire episode of Blockchain Talk about the pitfalls of stablecoins, why they are as bad as central banking digital currencies, what to watch out for, what has happened in the past, the need for proof of reserves, etc. It's all condensed really here in this episode. I even mentioned the previous article I've written here, but get more into depth here. So let's head on over towards next news item. This might surprise you, but as mentioned, Trump was mentioned in the title here, and despite some of you might thinking, yeah, I'm a supporter of Trump, I do not talk politics. Those who follow me will know my stances. However, I will be zooming in here on... Hello, Wendy. I will be zooming in here on his holdings in crypto. Now, why am I highlighting this? Well, former US President Trump has always made a case that he isn't a big fan of crypto. However, a few of his actions might prove the opposite. In the sense that, well, as you guys can see here, this is a slightly dated article. Donald Trump holds up to $500,000 in crypto. Former US president launched an NFT series last year. And it basically says, look, he is a long-standing crypto skeptic. However, his collection of non-fungible token cards last year featuring images of him, which sold out in hours, was sold for a momentum. The cards cooled off. Filing showed he had made between $500,000 up to $1 million from this deal, and that's basically the article. However, these were the trading cards. I have chosen to show them to you guys so you know that he actually did it, and the trading cards themselves were back then valued at $99, and it was an addition of 45,000 NFTs. I believe there was a little picture here. Oh, God. Sorry, I hate the advertisements, but yeah. Should really try to install a pop-up blocker and ad blocker here. So yeah, this is one of the NFTs that you could collect. Special collectibles from him, Mars, Trader, etc. Galadino with Trump. So it was a nice marketing stunt. I might say that in all actuality, it might have been a very nice cash grab. However, so you guys saw this article that it was between $500,000 up to $1 million. Well, in the end, a new disclosure said real value is much higher. That his Ethereum wallet holds about $2.8 million worth of NFTs of value in Ethereum. However, do note that in the meantime, prices have increased since December. That prices will increase after the next Bitcoin halving. We enter a new bull run. If he's as great as an economist, I'm going to say, well, you may expect that his holdings will increase tremendously, and that despite him not being a very big crypto enthusiast, the guy knows business. So he might say a few weird things, but he's making money on the side. And in a certain sense, you could see him as being some kind of crypto whale, having quite some leverage on the Ethereum network, with thanks to the selling of his NFTs, and probably increasing value if he holds the actual Ethereum. So yeah, that's basically the news item. Is there something? Yeah, and there's one small little extra, some bullish news to end this episode. As we all know, El Salvador was the very first country to make Bitcoin its legal tender. It was the very first one. Other countries in the passing since 2021, I believe it occurred, have been following suit, an African country. And now Argentina has its own primary presidential. Now Argentina is having elections. And one of the presidential runner ups, Javier Milei, I believe you pronounce it, well, just won the first primary presidential elections in Argentina. Now you need to know he is a BTC supporter, as indicated on screen. And at the same time, that's an article I did not prepare here. But at the same time, is Argentina seeing a case of hyperinflation? Since that their native currency is losing tremendous purchasing power. Naturally, as a BTC supporter, Javier Milei has been making a crypto agenda for his country for his running campaign. That's the word I was looking for his campaign, which is highly Bitcoin positive. And that might actually be one of the reasons why he won the first primary presidential elections in Argentina, which means he has a high chance to become president. And as Argentina is much bigger than El Salvador, there is a chance, I'm not going to say a great or a small chance, but there is a decent chance that Bitcoin might become legal tender in Argentina, meaning this is going to be a very, very big bullish signal for the forthcoming Bitcoin halving event. As I've mentioned before, Bitcoin works in cycles, and everything you're seeing now pre-halving, especially in those few, I'm going to say, in the year before the halving, Bitcoin is a spring being loaded. Plenty of institutional investors, governments are preparing regulations. There's filing for ETFs. There are countries who are currently in deep trouble due to inflation. Everything amassed together, coiling up that spring, which then will be released post halving, few months post halving, I'm going to say, when the liquidity shortage as a result of the halving truly hits, is going to be 2025. And El Salvador has already proven that Bitcoin can have a positive effect on the economy. Ever since they made Bitcoin legal tender and official numbers exist for this, well, El Salvador has seen much more tourists coming by. They've seen their debt shrink and the economy recovering nicely. And now that Argentina is seeing hyperinflation, and they've been taking notes from El Salvador's notebook, well, we might expect another country making it legal tender. And this one is going to be a country with quite a developed economy, which is, I believe, twice or thrice as big as El Salvador, with a Bitcoin favorable president at the helm. So this is actually a very big news item. Naturally, there's always a little side here. Give customers the best advice. Yeah, I didn't see this one. So yeah, this once again highlights, puts a little bit of a damper on the bullish news I had, but we need to remain objective and always be wary. A big fan of always heeding the call, of always watching out, and naturally it's great we can see a Bitcoin favorable person at the helm of a country. However, there's always something behind it. And it might be the case because I've seen this as well with the current ongoing presidential elections in the US, that there were a few crypto and Bitcoin favorable candidates for presidency, and they made it their, well, they took it up in their campaign about being positive with Bitcoin, etc., etc. However, it all remains talk, and the true agenda will only come to fruition once they are elected. And while I really wanted to be positive here, this little thing is also a little red flag, which needs to be taken in mind. It might be a little shady deal. It might be that he's using Bitcoin in order to gather votes and remain there. However, let's say optimistic and say, okay, Argentina will become a more crypto and especially more Bitcoin favorable country. With that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and slowly end this episode. So, guys, I want to thank you once again for watching. I know I made a few errors in my speech, perhaps a few words I didn't come up by. Naturally, I'm a Dutch speaking guy, normally speak French, Dutch, etc. But sometimes my English, I need to search the words. And as I said, all these live streams are being improvised, so nothing is prepared apart from the articles you've seen with a little bit of structuring and some additional background information. So what you see is what you get. And with that, guys, I want to thank you wholeheartedly for having watched this episode and being with me. If you have questions, remarks, want to do a shout out, show your appreciation, please like, subscribe to the channel, yada yada yada, leave a little comment or reach out to me on social media. With that, I want to say once again, thank you guys for watching and up until next time. Bye.